All right, so we should be live here in a minute.
Okay.
I also have a little chat screen up here, so if we get any questions, Brian can send, but we're live. Welcome, Dillon G, to the Facebook live interview. Sorry for the technical difficulties earlier, so appreciate you sticking with us and giving us another shot.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime.
Cool. Yeah, man. Well, welcome everybody on Facebook. Man, we're going to have some fun, talk some baseball with one of our All-Me Advisory Board members, former MLB pitcher Dillon G, also a former UTA Maverick. We would have probably played together roughly if I'd have stayed there, right? I guess maybe.
Yeah, that's it right there, right?
Short I don't know. I don't remember the hand size. So no, man, we're lucky to have you. But what are you and your family up to during these times of quarantine and COVID-19?
Well, my wife and kids are definitely probably going crazy more than I am. I get to leave, a few days a week. I still own an air conditioning business with my brother down in Cleveland, so it's essential, I guess, business. So I get to go down there a few days a week and get out of the house. And I do the grocery shopping now. My wife's pregnant, so she's trying to really stay out of the public during all this. So she's definitely probably getting some cabin fever though, and the kids are getting a little crazy.
Yeah, just trying to keep them busy. My neighbor Matt, who we've shot together at the Hoot Shoot before. His two kids are, man, they're constantly on the go, wanting to do stuff. So
yeah, some good habits have come out of it. My son, because now I have to work out here at home, and man, my son is and I don't push him to do it at all because he's a workout fiend right now. He just wants to work out every day. So,
well, it's good for him, right? Keep them busy, but it's just like, at some point, it's like, can they do chores around the house? Can you get them up? I just feel bad for them. I mean, I feel it's just bad, but I pray this ends soon and everybody gets healthy and we can get back to our normal crazy lives. But just for everybody watching, I come to get everybody a background of how our paths crossed. And we met probably 5 or 6 years ago when we formed the All-Me League. But even before that, back in 2003, I lost my younger brother, Taylor, as a result of making an uneducated decision and using anabolic steroids. And in 2005, my dad testified at the MLB congressional hearings. Following that, we partnered with Major League Baseball and have been ever since. They're our primary sponsor. And because of them, we've been able to impact over 2 million lives with our education programs. And along the way, we felt, hey, what can we do to inspire young kids to want to follow in the footsteps of their role models? And we figured, what better place to start with Major League Baseball and reach out to all 30 teams and form
to play for a while. So like I said, more than anything, it was just because I know what these kids are probably going through right now and the decisions they're trying to face and make.
Well, good. No, we really appreciate it. In fact, for whatever reason, we'd gotten cut off there, but we're back on. So Brian had sent me a message. So, but no, man, we just appreciate you stepping forward and, being that role model. And you had a really awesome career in the big leagues. You were drafted by the New York Mets out of the University of Texas at Arlington. So go Mavs. And so what was it like? And I'm sure you'll never forget this day when
we got a
do we got a guest?
Audience member.
She's live on Facebook and she's gonna be famous.
Yeah.
That's so cool. They're probably like, hey man, Dad, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, she's like, what the heck are you doing in there?
Yeah.
I'm never in here.
Oh man, yeah, why are you in there?
Yeah.
But so you get this phone call from a Major League Baseball team saying you were drafted. What is that like? I mean, did you know you were going to be drafted? When they call you, I mean, kind of, what's the feeling that you have? Is it surreal?
It was, yeah. It was pretty crazy, and I went through a bunch of emotions during the draft because I had heard from people at the time, hey, you could go as early as like the 8th round, something like that. I was like, awesome, man. Well, the first day of the draft goes by, and I'm kind of nervous, and nothing happened. I was like, man, screw this. This sucks. And so the next day, it was the second day of the draft. We were at a buddy's house swimming. I had given up, like, oh, I'm probably never going to get drafted now.
Yeah.
What am I going to do next? And just kind of moved on almost in my mind. And we were having a swim party and at a buddy's house, and my wife calls. So she's the first one that breaks the news to me, actually. She calls me and she's like, hey, your name just came across on the draft. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, the New York Mets. I said, what round? She was like, 21st. And then it wasn't 30 minutes later, the scout called me and set up a time to come to my house. And so like, I'd kind of, she had already told me, and as I'm kind of trying to figure it out, the scout called me, and I went from being like totally done thinking that was, I'm not going to get drafted to drafted. Wasn't exactly obviously where I wanted to go, but I just, at that time, man, I just wanted a chance. So it worked out.
So, I mean, when at that time, do you have an agent that you're working with, or do they, no, so you don't?
I had nothing. I mean, I think my dad had reached out to somebody that was an agent based out of Florida or something, and he was going to kind of advise me during the draft. I decided not to have that advisory role behind me. Maybe I should have, because at 18, or I guess I was 21, I wasn't a very good negotiator. I pretty much took what he first came out with. But hey, like I said, I got, all I wanted was a chance, and might have to give up some money on the front end there, but I made it back on the back end. So
Yeah.
but yes, we didn't have an agent at the time, and actually I probably played for 2 years before I ever had got an agent. My first.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had no idea how that works, but I know, just being a little kid, and you probably did the same thing. You're playing little league and you're working your way up to high school. It's just, you see these guys wearing these uniforms. It's like, man, I would give anything one day to play at that level. So getting that's got to be super, super special.
Well, I think it's because growing up, like I would go to the Rangers games and I wasn't happy unless I was like, the big thing for my birthday is like, I would get commissioner's box seats. So like the ones right on the field down right by the home plate dugout, or the home dugout. Because I always wanted to watch from on the field. Like I wanted to see the game, the speed of it. It's like, I don't know. I just had to be so close to feel it. And like, that's just where I wanted to be. I did not like watching from afar.
Yeah. And asked it, I've asked some of the athletic trainers and strength coaches, said, man, what do I got to do to sit in the dugout for a game? They're like, you need to be hired by the organization. That's the only way you're sitting in that dugout during that game.
Yeah.
But hey, worst case is they say no and we're in the same spot, but you at least gotta ask.
Tell them to hook you up with Pudge and try to sit next to him in that little box right next to the dugout. They come down the tunnel and they sit right next to the hospital. Really, now you're out on your own, and it's up to you to get better and to work hard and keep your nose clean. So we had a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun with the guys and the minors, and like I said, it weeds out the men from the boys, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
Like who can handle the grind, and who can handle the ups and downs and the failures along the way and still push to get better. So a lot of people give up, man.
Dude, and I know, it's like anything else. It's super hard, but if ultimately you have that goal of achieving it. But could you tell at that time with some of the guys you were playing with in the minors that ultimately went to the big leagues with you, could you see some of these standout players at that age?
Yeah, you could definitely. Some guys, like the standouts, man, you could just tell they're different. They're a different breed, and then the rest of us are kind of on a different level, having to scrap it out. But I also saw a lot of guys who I thought had the stuff to be that standout, but they didn't have maybe the mental, toughness, and literally they were head cases, and with the stuff they had, should have been a lot better.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that's why I'm saying it weeds out the people who really have what it takes to make it to the major leagues and stay, because I would say it's actually a lot more mental than it is physical. Everybody's pretty physical at that level.
Everybody's probably really good.
They're or at least pretty good. And then that mentalness, like mental toughness, is like the deciding factor, really.
Yeah. So super exciting time. You're finishing college, you get called up, you're going to play for the Mets, and you finally get to put on that big league uniform. So you've got to be nervous, anxious, excited. So what was it like when you got called up? Was it during spring training? Was it the middle of the season? Kind of take us through that.
No, mine was actually, I had gone to big league camp one time, and then played a couple exhibition games with the big league team out of spring training, but always went back down to like AAA. The year I got called up was 2010.
Right.
It was at the end of the year, September. I was a September call up because it was kind of like hey, good job for having a decent year.
Yeah.
We're going to have a September call up. And then I remember my pitching coach telling me that I probably wasn't even going to pitch. He's like, dude, there's, it's the rosters are huge. You might not even pitch. It's kind of just a reward type thing. I was like, man, I don't care. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I land in Washington, and again, my wife calls me and she goes, "You're starting tomorrow." I was like, "What?" She goes, "Juan Santana is hurt, and you're starting tomorrow." I was like, "Holy shit!" Like,
yeah.
Sorry if I can't say that, but I was freaking out. So I go to the field, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you're starting tomorrow. Johan's down, and you're gonna take a spot for the rest of the." I mean, I think at that time they didn't have obviously told me I was gonna be for the rest of the September, but they just said you're starting, and I just remember and I was in AAA at the time. My year wasn't great, so I didn't even think I was gonna get called up. I had pretty much shut it down, man. I was like not even playing catch, and so I'm really freaking out now. And so I get to the field. I'm like throwing my touch and field, trying to get my field back a little bit and stuff like that, and just get over all the jitterness, dude. And like taking it in. I'm in this huge stadium. I'm actually on the team wearing the jersey.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And man, just went to sleep that night. And I woke up the next day, ate my breakfast, did my routine like I do when I'm starting. But the biggest thing was that I was in the locker room, and you're normally sitting in there by yourself while everybody's at BP and stuff. And I'm about to start on my routine to get ready to go out, and I literally feel like I'm about to puke everywhere. I don't even know what I'm like. Holy crap, dude! Like I don't feel good. I'm about to puke. What's going on? I'm scared, and I don't know. Something in that moment, I looked at myself in the mirror. I was in the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, dude, talking to myself. I was like, dude, you're about to go out and do this no matter what, no matter if you want to or not. You can't back out.
Yeah.
You better freaking get it together and go do it. And I did, man. I had butterflies all the way up to the first pitch, but then it was just like competing like normal.
Man, that's so cool though, because and I was looking at kind of the stats and reading some of the articles on your first start. So you get out there. Now, was that at Shea Stadium or Citi Field?
No, we were on the road. We were in Washington.
Oh shoot, that's right. You're in Seattle.
No, we were in Washington D.C.
Sorry. Oh, D.C. That's right, national. So you're playing national. Okay. So that's a really cool park. So you're in D.C. Yeah. You get this start, so you're not even at home.
No.
And you take a no-hitter into the sixth inning and get the win.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and a base hit and an RBI my first at bat.
Dang, really? So you're probably like, hey, dude, I'm Babe Ruth now.
I just wanted to retire almost.
Yeah. that would have been a good start to retire on. Dang, that's super cool. So you get a hit, you help, driving a run for your team. Yeah. And you pitch awesome. So what's it like? I mean, they take you out of the game, I guess, after the sixth inning. Or did you pitch the whole game, or what was that like?
No, I think I got pulled in the seventh, maybe. I think I started off the sixth inning with a no-hitter going, and Willie Harris, who was later my teammate, took me deep, and he was the first hit was a home run. First hit I gave up. So first hit I gave up in the big leagues was a homer. That trend continued the rest of my career pretty much, but I gave up lots of home runs.
Yeah, but hey, at least you helped the team out and you drove in a run. That's pretty cool.
But and then I got out of an inning, I think the sixth, and I might have started the seventh, and then I got taken out in the seventh. So I maybe got an out or something.
Okay. So you get to play in New York, which is one of like the biggest freaking sports cities in the world, right?
Yeah.
Which I know, they're obviously going through a lot right now. But did you live in Manhattan? Did you live downtown, or did you live kind of outside the city? Where did you go to sleep tonight?
When I first got called up and we made it back to home, I lived in the hotel.
Okay.
For the rest of September, so I just lived in the Holiday Inn the rest of that month, and then in 11 when I got called, because I started in 11 in AAA as well, but I got recalled within like a week or two. Because Chris Young, the big tall Chris Young, got injured. Okay. So I came back like within 2 weeks of starting the season and got recalled. I lived in the hotel for about 2 months with my wife that year because I was so scared to get an apartment. I was like, I can get sent down at any time. I don't want to get an apartment. I'm just gonna live in a hotel. And finally, my agent's like, dude, you're killing it, dude. Get an apartment. You're gonna stay. And so we did. We got one, but we lived for two or 3 years in Long Island City,
Okay.
which is right across the river from Manhattan. And then I started making a little bit more money, and we moved in, and we wanted to experience it. Kind of, I didn't
Mm,
want to not have lived in Manhattan
okay.
if it came to an end, and kind
Yeah.
of regretted it. So we went into the city for the last 2 years I was there. And lived
Manhattan's a little different speed than we got here in North Texas, Fort Worth, and
very,
Dallas.
very different
Just
speed.
just a tad, right? Good food though. Lot of
Yeah,
people,
no,
man. A lot of
awesome
people.
restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Anything you want, man. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. Downtown Manhattan's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you had a chance to pitch with guys like Matt Harvey, Noah Syndergaard, who I know joined you at the Hoot Shoot a couple of years ago, which was pretty cool. Zach Wheeler, Jacob DeGrom. What was that dynamic like? I mean, did you get to hang out with these guys? Was there a lot of competition?
Yeah, man. When we were always tight. I feel like every staff that we had when I was there with the Mets was always pretty tight. I mean, I pitched with come up, and it's like you're learning from Johan Santana and Sean Markham, guys that have just been around forever
Yeah.
and teaching you a lot. Francisco Rodriguez. I mean, when I first came up, it was a veteran team. And then through the years, just like me, John Neese, Bobby Parnell is a reliever who's on the, staff. All these guys were tight that we would hunt together in spring training. We would take trips together, like in the off season or like before spring training would start. A lot of us get together and go on a trip together. So we were always tight. Harvey, DeGrom's my boy. I love that guy. We were always golfing, hunting, or something together. Spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the show on Discovery, Diesel Brothers, and I saw he had DeGrom had him build him like this really cool custom truck. I was like, man, that's
I gotta see that one. I didn't
sweet.
see that.
Yeah, he's on there. Yeah, I watched, of course, like all the episodes and stuff, and I saw him on there, and he'd actually shown some interest in being part of the advisory board, which
Yeah.
was really kind of cool to hear from a guy like that actually reached out.
He's a stud.
What's that?
So he's a stud.
Good, yeah, good, awesome. So you spend 6 years in the majors with the Mets, and then you get traded and have a couple of years to play with the Royals, Rangers, and then you end up with the Twins. What was your favorite city to play in in the home ballparks there?
Well, hold on. I never got traded though. I've never been traded.
Okay.
I was supposed to get traded one time, based on rumors, but I've never been traded.
Okay.
I've been designated a few times.
Okay.
And that's how I kind of ended up switching teams. My favorite place that I actually played though, and maybe it was just because the togetherness of the team or just the atmosphere, but man, I just had an absolute blast in Minnesota. Minnesota was a fun team to be on. We were playing probably above expectations, and we made it to the wild card game. And I had kind of resurrected in the bullpen. It was pitching really well the bullpen, and just felt really good about that role. Man, it was just, I don't know, it's just a lot of good stuff was happening in Minnesota, and I really liked it.
That's pretty cool. Now, did you get to play at the new Target Field?
Yeah.
That place is awesome.
It's pretty nice.
That's such a good, but I bet it's a little cold in the wintertime.
I don't want to be there in the wintertime. No.
Yeah, dude, it's really cold. All right, so I guess the difference of trading, as you had mentioned before. So basically, your contract ended, then you can sign deals as a free agent.
Yeah, that happened. Well, no. In New York Mets, I was designated off the roster, I think,
Okay.
and I spent the rest of the year in AAA
Right.
in 15. Now, once that was over, yes, I was a free agent, and I could
Okay.
sign wherever I wanted, and that's when I went to Kansas City.
Okay.
Ended up Kansas City. I got hurt right at the end of the season, and so
Surgery.
they kind of said the same. They non-tendered me because I had just had thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, and it was like the last 2 weeks of the season. I think it was in September sometime. And so and I knew that after I got hurt, they don't know what they're going to get out of me anymore. I felt that non-tender coming. So I got non-tendered by them, became a free agent again. And that's when I signed with the Rangers.
Okay.
Got to go to camp and try to make the team. Didn't make the team, but still got on the roster to go to AAA. So getting on the roster helped. And then I got called up, spent a couple of weeks, got designated again. And that's when I went to Minnesota.
Okay. Now, so
Then I went to Japan the next year.
Yeah, so Japan. Yeah, tell us about Japan. So I know you get to spend some time there because I remember seeing some of your posts and stuff on social media. But how does baseball in Japan differ from the U.S.? I mean, were you able to communicate while you were there? Because I know your Japanese probably isn't that good.
It's no bueno. Yeah. It not much communication going on, really. It was a big barrier of like, and even like trying to explain things through my interpreter was hard because they might not get what I was, even though he speaks English, they just interpret things differently in different words, or like you can't say anything sarcastically because they don't get it. They don't get sarcasm. But we loved it, man. We had an absolute blast over there. Love the food. I mean, the people are the nicest people on the planet. Baseball's awesome. I mean, you got 50,000 fans, 40,000 fans at these games, and they're loud and they have like cheering sections and stuff. And good. I mean, it's good baseball too. They're good. They might not have as much power up and down the lineup as like an American team would, but I can tell you they don't strike out as much as an American team would either.
Yeah.
Their contact and their discipline, and they're tough outs, and they're good players.
Man, I'll never forget. When I was in college, I was a freshman, and a team from Japan came over to play us. And we were watching these guys take in and out and practice and all that sort of stuff. And these dudes are smoking cigarettes on the field. And we're just kind of looking at them like, they don't even let us have chewing tobacco out here. And
oh, yeah. I want to try to find, while we're talking, a picture of the clubhouse.
It's crazy. I mean, is it anything like Mr. You remember the movie Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like, I mean, is that a pretty accurate, reflection of what baseball's like there?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hold on, I'm gonna find this picture. It's come from in the clubhouse in Japan. Gosh dang it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could imagine that the barrier of communication but I mean, it's probably the same thing for like a lot of the Latin players that are coming to the US to play. I mean,
oh yeah, man, it's got in that it opened my, I'm not gonna waste time trying to find it, but I'll explain it. There's a picture of the clubhouse.
Okay.
Clubhouse. Inside the clubhouse was a glass vestibule where they smoke. They would come in after every inning and go in the middle of the clubhouse was like another little glass enclosed vestibule with exhaust fans in it, I guess. And they would all pile in that room and just smoke heaters between every inning.
No.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So kind of like I guess they do at the airport. I mean,
yeah.
How do you have time to go freaking burn a smoke in between innings?
I don't know. They do it. Every one of them.
Dude, it's just I've never seen. But here's kind of a funny story because after the game, I was playing in Louisiana, right? And they played wood bats, so we played wood bats, which as a pitcher was great because I mean, you used to metal bat, a guy makes a mistake and it could turn into a double or even a single. Yeah. But you make a mistake with a wood bat, it's broken or it's ground ball out. So we had crawfish after, right? And so one of the guys on our team, he played first base, like he's just having some fun with these Japanese guys. So he told them, you got to eat it live, right? So dude, they picked the crawfish up by the tail and he hands it to a dude. It bit this dude on the lip and he just started screaming and running around. And I'm like, dude, you're such a jerk, dude. That's not even cool. He had no idea what he was doing, Yeah. So I was like, stop messing with him. But now, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember at one point you had posted something. I don't know if it was to your Instagram account or Twitter or whatever, but you had like a drink or there was something on the table with a snake in it. What was that? Did you drink it?
Oh yeah, we drank it. It was I met up with the buddy that had played with the Rangers, Jared Hoying.
Yeah.
He had gone to play for a Korean team that year, but we were both spring training in Okinawa. So we met up one night and went to this little hole in the wall bar, just having some drinks and talking. And finally just being able to sit down and talk to somebody without an interpreter was just nice, And at the end of the bar, they have this huge mason jar thing, and it's like all you can see is like a snake head looking at you. It's like, and then it coiled up inside this juice. We were like, "What is that?" And this guy's like, "Snake juice." I don't know. And I was like, "Jared, we got to have some of that." He's like, "I'll do it if you do." And so they just get pour you a little shot of it, dude. And then I guess it's infused with that. I don't know what it was made out of, but it was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, So I guess it's like an alcohol beverage, but
Oh yeah,
oh,
it was gross.
what's worse, that or Jägermeister?
That was way worse.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, yeah, that kind of explains that. But that's pretty. I mean, it's cool that you had the opportunity to do that.
Well,
So I
yeah,
mean,
it's just like we're in Japan. I'm not gonna do it.
yeah, I don't know if my dad talked about when he did a lot of international travel before he did this, and he said, there were restaurants you go into and they would serve food you didn't know what it was and you just
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
ask,
Yeah.
but they've eaten like scorpions and all sorts of other weird stuff. I'm just like, man, that's just. I guess if I didn't know, I probably would have tried it too, but I just don't like snakes, so it's like don't set it anywhere near me. I don't, they're gross.
I'm not normally an adventurous eater, but in Japan, I definitely ate things without knowing it that I wouldn't probably eat again.
Yeah. Hey, it's all about the experience,
But
but
if you don't know it, it was good. I'd be like, man, that's good, but what is that? And he'd tell me, I'd be like, yeah, don't want any more though.
yeah, that or don't tell me what I just freaking ate. One of the two.
Yeah.
So you spent 10 years, you got a professional baseball career over a decade, have a great career. I mean, what were some of, I guess, the secrets to success between like nutrition, mindset, routine? Like, what did you do to stay on top of your game?
Man, I just had a good routine. It was all about like finding a routine that worked for you and sticking with it through like the good times, good outings, bad outings. I was taught early on, be even kill and have a routine that you stick to that kind of keeps you from getting too low and too high mentally. Like whether you had a good outing or bad outing, the next day what you're going to do to help recover, what you're going to eat, the workout you're going to do, how you're going to flush your system or get, massages or whatever you got to do, whatever works for you to recover is kind of the important thing. And so early on, I was just taught how to find a routine. And I've always found routines that worked for me, made me feel good physically and prepared me mentally for the next time. Like I said, a lot of that is just getting proper rest and workouts and nutrition and taking the right supplements, other than luckily we could just go to, the NSF list and get anything we wanted to that's approved, has good ingredients in it, and is not tainted.
Yeah.
So before those types of things were available, I mean, it's hard to know what you're taking out there. I mean, it's crazy that you can go to GMC and think you're getting something over the counter, it's legal, but who knows what's in it? I mean, you probably know because y'all have done studies now.
Yeah.
And it's scary what's in it that you don't even know.
It really is. We just recorded a podcast yesterday with Brian Jordan at NSF and talked a lot about the work that they're doing and some of the things that they found in these products, and just really try to explain it, especially parents. And we probably have a lot of parents that are going to see this video as well as kids, but to understand that just because you can go purchase it over the counter doesn't necessarily mean it's safe. And from a standpoint of a professional athlete like yourself, had you had taken a product that had an anabolic steroid in it or a banned substance and you tested positive, not only does that affect your health, that affects your income, your livelihood, and your reputation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and that's, that's kind of what's just amazing. I mean, you spent over 10 years playing professional baseball and you did it without the use of performance enhancing drugs. And it's a great message for kids to hear that they too can get to that level, without the use of drugs and banned substances and what have you. But, just when we kind of talk to them, they see a lot of athletes that are, they'll get put out in the media that they use performance enhancing drugs and they think, oh, well, I need to do that too. And that was really the genesis behind All Me. In fact, you can probably see the Alex Rodriguez jersey behind me. And, we were working with him. And when he got implicated the second time, that's when we cut ties and said, hey, there's so many professional athletes that are out there that would be great role models, that don't put up with doping, that don't put this stuff in their body, that would just be great role models for kids. And that was kind of how All Me was born.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like I said, what you guys have done has just been amazing. And to see where it's gotten to from whenever I first signed on, it's just really cool to watch you guys and what you're doing.
Man, we appreciate your support. So now that your professional playing days are behind you, unless, the Rangers might need an extra arm or something this year,
I can play my kids right now. I can barely play my kids.
Yeah, exactly. How's life after baseball? What are you up to?
Oh man, a lot of stuff. We have rental properties that I manage. I have another partner that we build houses. We're building our first spec house now. That's been a lot going on. Me and my brother own an air conditioning business down in Cleveland, so I go down and help with that, do books and
Yeah.
stuff. Been very busy. Like I said, I'm probably busier now than I was playing, just because playing, it's like you're either preparing for the season or you're competing in the season. And that's your two
Yeah.
mindsets. I mean, you know what you're doing in the off season.
Yeah.
Workout, make sure that I'm healthy, and that's it. There's no extracurriculars really. I mean, that you have to worry about. Now it's just like every day I'm just like running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to put out fires everywhere or get something done, or
Yeah.
but it's fun, man. I like it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm kind of ADD anyways, so
Yeah.
it keeps me from getting bored.
I'm the same way. It's like I've got to have my projects lined out. I can't just sit, especially during the times that we're living in right now. I just can't sit on the couch all day. And I've worn out Netflix. I've seen everything, but it's just I just can't do it. So having spent, one of the really, questions that we wanted to ask you was, you spent a lot of your professional career in New York and New York City, which has been one of the worst cities that's been hit by this pandemic. I mean, what are your thoughts on the COVID-19 pandemic? I know you probably have a lot of fans that follow you on social media that are from New York. Kind of what are your thoughts? And
man, these days I don't know what to think about this stuff. Obviously it's real and it's bad, and what's going on is crazy. And I think obviously, places like New York, it's just, I'm guessing, I mean, I'm no doctor or scientist, but I'm guessing it's because it's so much people are so close together there, and mass transit, stuff like that. It's just so hard to get it under control there. Luckily, out here in Texas, we're a lot more spread out and stuff like that. So we're not as in close contact with each other. That's probably why we fared better during all this.
Yeah.
But man, just like for the whole thing, I just don't know what to think. There's so much stuff out there that's going on, and like I'm not gonna say that I'm like, I don't know what to say, because I there's so many different things out there of what's going on. I don't know what to think. I do know, obviously, it's real and it's killing people, and that's terrible. And hopefully we can get back get back to normal and get the economy going, and get people healthy.
Yeah, I
find something that can treat it.
Every morning I wake up, I'm just hoping, please, this is going to be the morning that you wake up and see that, oh, we found a vaccine or we found a cure.
Yeah.
So, we can get people healthy and get back to normal life. It's crazy. I just went to the post office today when I sent you the book.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've got like the plastic sheets and everybody's wearing masks. And it's just like, well, I really haven't been out much. So just getting in the truck and going somewhere to me was like really exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just get in a truck and drive somewhere to do something. Like,
especially with gas being cheap.
Look at something.
Yeah, exactly. So but just to kind of wrap up, I want to get to a couple of questions that we had received, and I'll take a look over here to see if we get any questions as well, if you guys want to start posting some of them. But I just wanted to let you know and how much myself, my family, our friends, our supporters admire you. You're an amazing guy. You've got such an awesome family. You've just been so supportive of the Taylor Hooten Foundation, even as an active ball player, now retired. And we were actually on the same Smith Thompson Security Hoot Shoot team a couple of years ago. We placed third, I believe. Yeah. Which we probably need to get that team back together, because we haven't really fared that well since. I
haven't fared as well since we
started. No. I mean, I'm lucky if we place in the bottom three. But and
you and France back together. And
I got to call Brian. Brian moved to Colorado, I believe, or Montana, somewhere up there. So I got to get him back in town. And in fact, I'll see Matt here in a couple hours. I'll tell him, dude, we gotta get us back together and figure out how to win that really cool trophy. In fact, it's sitting right over here.
I get one over.
Yeah, and but this year we wanted to honor you and your family at our 6th annual All-Star Gala, and I'll never forget, when we were like, man, Dillon and his wife would be great, and I said, let me reach out to them, see if they'd be our honorary host chairs this year, and I called you and you were like, hey man, let me think about it. I was like, okay, we'll see what he says, and then you called me, and I was out mowing grass. So I kind of stopped. I was like, well, maybe they're not going to be able to do it this year. And I was really excited when you said, Carrie Ann and I'd be like super excited to do this. And it's really cool to have a professional athlete that's as a host chair this year. And I just remember when you and Carrie Ann spoke at our reveal party when we were over there at the Star.
Yeah.
And I mean, both of you guys are very well spoken. Have you guys thought about like a career in public speaking?
Absolutely not.
No, I mean, you did it like naturally. I mean, I'm sure just
makes
from
me more nervous than pitching in front of 30,000 people.
really.
Oh yeah.
People ask me that all the time. Like, do you get nervous before you speak? And I'm like, well, I mean, I get butterflies and stuff, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of one. It's like pitching in front of 30,000 people.
I get butterflies, but that's just what I did. And this is what you do. Now,
Yeah.
It's not what I do, so I get really nervous.
Well, tell your wife. I mean, she maybe it's her, but y'all both did really, really well. So, but due to the pandemic, obviously we've had to postpone the gala, and it's currently June 13th at exclusive Auto and Richardson. We have a couple of tables left, so if people are interested in purchasing tickets, you guys can come to our website or send us a message here on Facebook, and I could provide you guys a link. And this is our first formal gala. So, I mean, I had to go out. I've got a suit. In fact, it's at the tailor, which I need to go pick it up. I've got my mask.
Yeah.
I'm not the type that really dresses up a lot. So it's, to see me in a suit, it's going to be kind of crazy. But have you guys gotten your masks? You guys all set?
We got some masks. Yeah. Luckily I already have a tux, so I'll be wearing that.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're going all in, man.
I'm definitely not a guy that dresses up much. I mean, my daily is t-shirt and shorts or jeans and boots or some flip-flops. So, yeah. But I like putting on the tux, once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So it's fun. We got masks, so we're ready. We're ready to go.
Yeah,
By pushing it back, though, my wife was kind of freaking out because she bought a dress based on how pregnant she would be for the first time. Now it keeps getting pushed back. She's like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to wear. I'm going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
So maybe they can, somebody will figure out how to fix that.
Cut out the belly and it'll be like a Lady Gaga type dress where she.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure she'd love that. I'm sure she would absolutely love that. So it's going to be super exciting. We've got a lot of really cool stuff, especially the Texas Rangers stadium seats that you donated. So, Matt's son, Levi, my neighbor's son, Levi, he just, he thinks his dad's the coolest because he knows you, and so he came over the other night. He's like, hey, he was sitting in the seats. I've got him in my dining room.
Yeah.
And he said, Dillon G gave these to him, and my dad knows him. So he thought that he thinks that's the coolest thing. I was like, man, it's really neat, little kids and how excited they get.
Yeah.
But got a couple of questions for you. So the first one, actually, it's how far along is your wife in her pregnancy?
Just talked to her about this the other day. She's almost in her third trimester, so she's like 21 weeks, something like that.
Okay. So 21 weeks. All right. And then, so Mary asked, what was your favorite stadium to pitch in?
Oh man, the favorite to pitch in would be Citi Field before they brought the fences in because it was massive.
Really?
Yeah, when I first they had a huge wall out in left, which now has the seats down in front of it.
Okay.
The wall behind it used to be the regular fence, and they brought in the entire right center gap and redid the bullpens as well. So before they did that, it was a graveyard. It was like the Polo Grounds almost. So that was a good place to pitch in.
So the bullpens
used to go this way. They were stacked like one lengthwise, and then the other one was behind it. And now they run like they both look at like the outfield fence is here.
Yeah.
Now they both go straight back, and they're next to each other. And they brought all that in. They have like places to sit up front.
Yeah.
They brought the whole gap in, man, right in right field too. They made that party little area. With a net over it that used to not be there. That was field.
Really?
So yeah, it was the graveyard.
I'll have to send you a link. I watched this YouTube video this week, and it talks about all the old stadiums and how they used to not have an outfield wall, and then the first outfield wall, I think when they built it, it was the farthest depth was 150 feet, which is smaller than a little league field.
Yeah.
Imagine like big league guys playing. I mean, it would be awesome. I mean, a fly ball is like a long home run.
Yeah.
And it's got a video of Willie Mays running a ball down the Polo Grounds, and he caught it at 468 feet on the run.
Yeah,
which is a freaking bomb.
Was that the one that he caught like over his shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 468.
That would be an absolute tank these days, like in our field.
Oh, it'd be that's a moonshot. So I'll have to send you the video. It's kind of cool. It's like 8 minutes and it goes through all the different, why they designed the fields the way they did. And I think it was Camden Yards in Baltimore where the Orioles play was kind of the first new of the modern day. I get to play there as a kid in high school, and it was really kind of cool. And that's when I figured I was going to be a pitcher, not a hitter, because the dudes on the other side, there was 2 twin brothers throwing like 94.
Yeah.
And the first one came and I heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard it. And I looked at him. I said, dude, just don't hit me. Just throw 2 more, like, and I'm out. Like, I can't even see it. So there's no way I'm hitting.
That's funny. So you brought up Camden Yards, though. That is the only stadium I have not been to or played at.
Really?
Yeah. And I heard that's a launching pad, though.
Fun fact about Camden Yards. Did you know at second base at Camden Yards, like where the second baseman would stand and play, Babe Ruth at one time would have had a bar there, his family, like that was a street.
Really?
The bar sitting right there where second base is.
That's pretty cool.
And then I'll test your mind. This is a good one that I got shared with along the way. Do you know what the mascot is for the Colorado Rockies? And what his name is?
I should know this. I can like almost see it.
So I'll let you think about it. We'll come back to it in a minute because I stumped Matt with this the other day, and he was like, man, I had no idea. So Coach K said, for those baseball players stuck at home, what are some exercises they can do to still work on their game?
I mean, obviously, like, so we can stick at home. I mean, I would still try to work out like as much as you can. I mean, so you might be limited with weights, but you can always work on your cardiovascular endurance or, body weight circuits. I mean, which can be challenging if you do them right. Keep your strength up as much as possible because you lose it way faster than you build it. And so you want to try to maintain as much as you can. Range of motion stuff, man, go out, foam. I mean, if you're bored, just lay down on the ground with a lacrosse ball, foam roll, loosen up, do some soft tissue stuff, loosen everything up. Cause I'm a big believer, a lot of my injuries came from lack of hip mobility. I have a torn labrum in my right hip and it got worse and worse as I got older. And I think that hip mobility is a big factor in longevity for a pitcher. So anything you can do to work soft tissue, man, and especially in the hip area, work on that stuff. I mean, cause if you're bored and you're not doing anything, you might as well just sit on a lacrosse ball and work it out.
Stay stretched.
Rotator cuff stuff. Just keep your shoulders strong. You can still get thrown in. I used to throw into the net all the time. So there's really no excuse for anything anymore. I mean, a lot of people have made it very far in life with a lot less stuff available to them than we have. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there that had nothing, grew up with nothing, and they just figured out a way. So I think there's always a way to work on something and get better, whether it's just going outside and doing body work circuits or throwing into a wall or throwing into a net or working on mobility, whatever it is.
And we'll see who those guys are that had prepared. So we actually have one viewer here that knows the answer to the question of who is the mascot for the Colorado Rockies. His name is Dinger, and he's a Triceratops.
Oh, I told you because I knew it had some kind of horn on it because Daniel Murphy, who's a good friend of ours, plays there, and his wife's she's very involved in stuff. She's always posting on Instagram, like with the mascot or doing that. Golly, that's so weird. So
we were there a couple of years ago. My mom happened to be in town. My cousin at the time lived in Denver, and Doogie, who's their Keith Duggar, who's their head athletic trainer for the Rockies, like, hey man, why don't you guys come to the game? And I was like, yeah, dude, I guess we'll get some tickets when we leave. He's like, well, dude, I have 4 tickets and you guys can use them. My family's not in town. So I said, all right, cool. So this dude, the usher guy, was talking to us and telling all sorts of jokes. And then he asked that question, I was like, baseball, I'm not going to be good at this. But so I said, okay, you're in Colorado. Why is it a freaking Triceratops? So when they were building Coors Field, what he explained to me was when they got, I believe, it was the first base dugout they were digging and hit bones. and found out that, oh wow, like there's some bones here, and so they brought in archaeologists and stuff, and it almost pushed opening day back.
Yeah.
Stadium, but it was actually a triceratops that they dug up, and that's how ultimately.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. It's always, dude, that's just good. Like when you're hanging out with your buddies, it's good.
Always good at random knowledge.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got a lot of that. 3 more. So Mark had asked, have you ever thrown a no-hitter at any point in your life? And the other question was, have you ever hit a home run at any point as a professional player?
Oh, this is all professional questions?
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, I guess both.
The no-hitter at any point in your life. So I did in high school. I threw 2 in high school.
Oh, dang.
And I hit some homers in high school, but I've never done either of those professionally.
Okay, none professional. And then we had one other question here.
I got into a no-hitter professionally, I think I went into the 7th or 8th.
Oh, dude, you've got to just.
So which was one of my debut was close, and then I had another one at home at Citi against Washington that I went I think into the 8th before I get my first hit.
Dang. We had another question here. Ladies want to know, have you guys picked a name yet?
We think so. We haven't really talked about it a whole lot. The kids kind of named this one.
All right.
I found out it was a boy, and just out of nowhere, they kept calling him Baby Dax, like DAX, and it's kind of stuck because I just started saying, hey, this is for Dax, or how's Baby Dax today? And I think it might be it.
All right. Well, we'll have to stay tuned on that.
Dax.
This is one. In fact, I remember some of the guys asking at the Hoot Shoot. Matthew said, "What was the toughest batter you've had to face?"
Oh, I hate even thinking about facing this guy. He's not even a very good hitter per se. I mean, he had some good years with a lot of home runs, but average wise, I mean, especially at the tail end of his career, maybe he was hitting in the hundreds, but he would still take me yard every time I faced him almost. Ryan Howard.
I just saw him a couple of weeks ago, I guess months ago, down in spring training. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
If you look up, if somehow, I don't even know how to do this, but I know people have told me who did look it up, like legit Ryan Howard's numbers just off me were like stupid.
Hey, it's one of those things. I remember as a hitter in high school, like when I could hit the ball, when dudes weren't throwing like gas. I mean, I couldn't imagine, like, if somebody threw 100 to me, I would just forget it, like I'm out. But but you had those dudes that you just owned.
Yeah.
One of the parents asked, "Who was your favorite player growing up?"
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. All right.
Texas. I mean, that's just, if you live in Texas, from Texas, I feel like that's always your go-to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. He's pretty awesome.
He was the man.
And then the last question was from Tracy, and I'll look over here. And if anybody else has any other questions, so that we can wrap, Dillon's got to get back to real life. Please put some in the comments. But what is the best advice to give to a young baseball player, from Tracy? So I guess a mom.
Man, it'd be probably a little bit more than just like one specific thing. I'm a big believer in like believing in what you want. Like you have to almost tell yourself you already have what you're going after. Like I'm a big visualization guy, and I think you got to visualize your goals and visualize where you want to be before you'll ever be there. And if you don't do that, then you're like, I just think in that spiritual world, like the visualization world, you need to tell your mind what you want out of this world, or what you want out of your goals. And if you, it just attracts, law of attraction, dude. Like I believe in that stuff. And cause it helped me. I saw it work. I hired a mental coach, and I just think the mental game and the mental aspect of even not just sports. I mean, I think business, life, like I just think the mental aspect and visualizing things that you want and your goals and stuff like that help you attain them. And I just think that everybody's always worried about supplements, or I'm not strong enough, or I need to be stronger, I need to throw harder. And that's true. I mean, obviously you want to get better physically, but I think too many times people overlook the mental side of sports and business and stuff like that it takes. I mean, it takes all of it to get to the major leagues and stay, for sure. So, and I think it's easy. It's like people just neglect work it. Your mind is it can be worked out too, and it's through visualization, and that's visualizing games. Visualizing your pitches, visualizing great pitches, visualizing good results, visualizing just a point in life that you see yourself at, 10 years down the road. I think that's a big proponent of success.
No, that's awesome. And did you want to know what Ryan Howard hit off you? Somebody had posted it.
This is that career?
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna say like 500 and something.
Wow, you're really close. He hit 444, 7 home runs.
Yeah.
So I guess on the other side,
you should look at my numbers against like.
Yeah, who did you own? Like, who was your guy? Like
Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones, huh?
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. But then Ryan Howard just demolishes me.
So Brian Parker, who works for us, you met Brian. He's a big Braves fan.
Yes.
So I hope you heard that, Brian. That he might send me a message. I know it's a delay. I was like, yeah. So you see that he owned Chipper Jones. Well, Dillon, man, thank you. What we'll do is we'll like package up the video. It's gonna obviously save on Facebook and stuff, and then we'll put it out on YouTube, and I'll find a way to kind of stitch it where it kicked us off.
Hey, whoever that was that posted the Ryan Howard thing, see if they're good enough to figure out the Chipper Jones one real quick.
Chipper Jones, I'll send him a message. What is his average against Chipper Jones? So it's on the delay. It was Brian that actually posted it from our account because it was weird. I looked up. So he's looking. 0.091. Dude, you owned him. Like, that's not even a hit.
And he was in my division, so I faced him a lot. Like, that's not just like bats. You know what I mean?
Dang,
that's my claim to fame right there. It's my claim to fame.
Own Chipper Jones. Well, that's cool. Yeah, Brian said that hurts. He was really excited to interview you, and obviously with the bandwidth and stuff that it takes and everybody being on Zoom, it didn't work out. But man, dude, thank you for taking your time. I got that book in the mail to you guys, so that should be to you like there on Monday. And but man, and
I appreciate
enjoy, and you guys stay safe too.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Keep doing awesome work, spreading the knowledge, and hopefully we can get this gala in soon.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to meet Dillon in person, he will be at the gala on June 13th. So come to our website and check it out. But thanks again, Dillon, man. Have a good one, brother. Appreciate it.
You too. Thank you, man.
Right. Yeah,